Okay, so last time we saw that change event has this get source method that it inherits from event object, and get source returns the object on which the event initially occurred. So we're looking to capture these change events from a JSlider. So let's look at our JSlider. So to get the value from a JSlider, we have a method called getValue. Okay. Now notice getValue returns an int, so that might be an issue for us when we're playing with the slider. But let's see how we can use it just as an int for now. So what we need to do is we need to get source, that's our JSlider. We need to cast to a JSlider because get source just returns object. It doesn't know what kind of object you want. And we need to know what a JSlider is, so we add an import for that. And get source just returns us a JSlider. That's not a float, right? So we want the value. So let's try get value. And, you know, an int easily converts into a float, so just let that be what it is for now. So now we've got that value, so we've got the value that we want to set. What is the other stuff that we need to do in between? So we need to get the transform. We need to do this stuff so we can get the translation vector, right? At this point, we don't have the translation vector. So let's make a method that returns our translation vector. And then we can reuse, it's just these 3 lines, but then we can just reuse the same code in those different places. So introduce method. And actually, since translation vector is an instance variable, this just has to be a void, right? Translation vector, that's actually not going to have any parameters. It just does those 3 things, okay? So we'll do that. We'll do that for the button. And we'll do that for the slider. Okay. And so then we set the translation vector. Then we do the set value business, and then we have to do this stuff, right? Set translation vector, transform group, and fire the state has changed, so we can tell that that text field that our state has changed. So now maybe the better name, maybe this should be set translation vector and the other thing. I mean, this should be get translation vector and the other thing should be set. Let me rename this. And then I'll call this stuff set translation vector, because this is more like putting it back into the scene graph. So let's refactor, introduce method, set translation vector. Okay. And let's test and make sure that the button business still works, because that'll make sure we did this, at least for button, pulled out these methods. Okay, so yeah, looks good, looks good. Okay. I think I can get rid of this thing now. And let's see. So now we just need to stick in a J slider with the right values instead of a button. Let's see here. So pause panel. So here where we set up the panel, you know what? I'm going to save this. Like I said, I like to. This is something that I'll just call it a pause button panel. Just seems like something I'd like to have around. I might want later on. Pause button panel. And like I said in an earlier lesson, if I had done the rotation buttons too, I'd have a nicer, more abstract version of this. But I'm just going to hold on to it. And now, and then this one, I'm actually going to rename, I think. Let's see, can I rename it from here? Refactor, rename, pause slider panel, let's say. Okay, so here we are going to, so now in here we're going to start, instead of having J button in here, we're going to stick in J sliders, and we'll do that in the next lesson.